You're about to see 3 property deals that are going to make a combined profit of £100,000, and they're not even my properties, they're our clients. Each property has been bought, refurbed and managed by us completely hands-free. And today we're going to start off with this property over here, the first property in Bishop Auckland. And in this video I'm going to show you why the numbers work, how they stack up, and how we find properties like these ones. So the first property is in Bishop Auckland. It's a quiet area, nice little village, and we secured this property pre-auction, which means it never even hit the market. So here's one thing I didn't realize until I started to get into property properly, that you don't need to be an expert, you don't need the knowledge, contacts, or even experience to be able to build a property portfolio. I mean, if you've got those things, that's great, but if you've got a good job or a business that's already paying you well, then it's going to be hard for you to figure out all these things in property. And let's just say you are able to figure out these things, it's still going to take you a lot of time. Each of the 3 properties that I'm about to show you today have been sourced by us pre-auction or off market, and then project managed end to end for our investors. And these 3 properties combined are set to make over £100,000 in profit. And today I'm going to show you how and break the deals down. Now this is a 2-bedroom detached property, and here are the numbers. So the purchase price is £104,200. Refurb is going to cost £32,000. Estimated resale value £195,000, and profit after all the costs including our fees is going to be £30,000. So we just started stripping the property out. The refurb has started, and really this could have been a holiday let too because of the area it's in, but the client decided to flip this property, build up his cash pile, and then move on to the next project. Now the kitchen, as for the kitchen, there is no kitchen because it's been ripped out. But what we're going to do is we're going to replace this, get a brand new kitchen in, modern neutral colors, because that's what usually works. It's going to be a higher spec compared to a rental, because when you're selling a property on, really you want to have the best first impression. And so, you know, we tend to spend higher on flips. Let's go to the other side of the property. This is the downstairs toilet, so we're going to replace this. Have you noticed that these kind of sinks now are back in fashion? And I don't know how old this one is, but we're hoping to keep this one and obviously just sort out the rest. So how do we know that the property is going to sell for what we think it is? So this isn't a guess. We've got sold comparables, similar sold comparables near this area within a 1-mile radius that have already sold for £200,000 plus. Obviously there's never any guarantees because it depends on the market at the time, but it's an educated guess. So our client is not going out and finding these properties, getting builder quotes or managing letting agents. We manage all of the process for them. And in fact, our client has not even visited this property. And essentially we take on all the work, we handle the stress, we give them updates, and they're able to build a portfolio completely hands-free. One thing I also wanted to show you is this. I really like this. Oops. Open the door, and if you come outside, just look at the views from this property. I really like this mini balcony. And then let me take you to the other side of the house. Over here we also have what used to be the bathroom. We're gonna go full tiles across the bathroom, and then if you come here, that one was the first bedroom with the nice view in the balcony. This is the second bedroom. It's a fairly good size. Again, guys, we're going to try and keep the characteristics as much as possible because, you know, that's essentially what makes the property. But at the same time, we need to modernize it. And then the second bedroom also has an ensuite, which is very convenient. So the next property is literally 4 minutes drive away from this property over here. This one was a flip. The next one's a BRR deal where the client is going to be living in £11,000. So let's get in the car. Let's head down. So we're literally 3 minutes away from this property. It's saying 1.5 miles on the sat nav. Next property, what I would call a proper BRR, right? Because a proper BRR is where you just scroll on a right move, and most likely you'd scroll past it because at first glance it doesn't look all that, it doesn't look exciting. And that's the beauty of BRR, because in most cases you're going to buy a property that no one wants. It's going to be undervalued, it's going to look dated, it needs a lot of work to it, and it puts people off. But that's where the real opportunity is in these kind of properties and in BRR in general. So once we get there, we'll run through the numbers, show you around what the plans are. So this property, purchase price £42,000. We're going to spend £24,000 on the refurb, and once it's refinanced, we're looking at an end value of £85,000. That means our investor, our client, is going to be leaving £11,000 in the deal and cash flowing approximately £240. Now, before you say only £242 a month, let's go inside and let me give you some context. Now guys, £242 a month isn't life-changing. We all know that. It's not going to help you replace your 95. It's not going to make you rich. But property, guys, is a long-term game. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up the deal analyzer on the screen as well. But if you just look at what banks are giving you, it's normally like anything between 1 to 2%, right? If you look at the stock market, it's averaging around 8 to 10%. Our investor gets double that. So overall, is this deal gonna make you rich? Absolutely not. But if you stack a few of these, that's when things started to build up. So this one, as I mentioned previously, isn't a flip. The investor is going to be holding it on for the long term. So he is expecting to make £15,000 in the next 5 years just based on that £240 cash flow. But on top of that, guys, property prices go up in value over time. It's not unreasonable to expect to make an additional £15,000 in the next 5 years in the price going up. So if you look at it, this property overall is going to potentially make £30,000 in the next 5 years. And that's what I mean by property is a long-term game. So this is my favorite part, the kitchen, because if you look at the rest of the property, it's bland, and that's what most rentals of this price value look like. But the kitchen, I like the flooring, and overall it fits within our budget. So deals like this, maybe 5 years ago, used to be common where you could leave in £11,000 to £12,000 in the property. But now there's a lot more competition, prices are going up, and in general it's just a lot harder. So how did we find this deal? Our head buyer Sean, he's been building these relationships for the past 5, 6, 7 years time, and now before a property comes on the market, because they know that Talking Houses as a company are buying properties, sometimes we get first refusal on these kind of properties, and this was one of them. Upstairs, let me show you the bedrooms. Once the property is rented out, it's going to be fully managed for them. So this is as passive as possible when it comes to property investing, because of course nothing is ever completely passive. Check out bedroom number 1. This is the first bedroom. Again, nice and simple. And then over there is the bathroom, which I like the color of this. What color would you call this? You call this beige. I'm more like it's a greige. Stone, yeah, I think stone more than beige or a grey. But yeah, so this is the bathroom. And then bedroom number 2 is this one over here, which I'll quickly show you. And this is the most spacious one. If you guys haven't been to the Northeast before, having the boiler in the bedroom upstairs, it's not uncommon, let's put it this way. So this is the second property. We're now going to head off to the third property, which is in one of the best postcodes in the Northeast. I've actually got a property over there as well. So if you really think about it, once the property has been refinanced and rented out, the investor is going to be leaving in £11,000 to £12,000 left in the deal. So technically, as crazy as it sounds, this property the client has owned for £12,000, right? Now, if you're new to property, you might be thinking that's such a wild concept, but that's the power of BRR, buy, refurb, rent and refinance, because that way you're able to make use of your money, your pot of cash, and basically you can rinse and repeat and build a fairly good portfolio, sizable portfolio using the same pot of cash. Of course, you need to keep topping up the pot of cash to be able to buy more properties, because you will leave in some money in the deals. But if you're especially investing in a place like the Northeast, your money just goes further. It's just quite simple, because down south property prices are expensive, you're leaving in more money in the deal, and it's up here it's a low barrier to entry. So this is a 4-bedroom semi-detached property in one of the best postcodes in Durham. Now, refurb is nearly complete. Let me show you inside. We've got one of our builders in here somewhere as well. I think he's somewhere in here. But anyways, purchase price, we picked this up for our client for £215,000. I'd say about realistically around 3 weeks away from completion. And because usually the price range that we kind of stick to when it comes to investing in the Northeast is the sweet spot is £70,000 to, 120, 130. But because this is obviously a pricier area, we're going to have to fit in, nicer things. So this kitchen, this is one of the better kitchens, and ironically this is the same postcode that my 16th property is in. Headline figures, purchase price £215,000. Refurb on this is going to be slightly more than what we usually do, because the client is going to flip this on, so the refurb is going to cost around £34,000, and resale value we're looking at, based on comparables, around £320,000. Profit we're looking at around £40,000 with bridging loan. So let me show you the other way. So if you just come outside, fast forward, it's hard to tell from here, but if you just swing it around, this is like in a cul-de-sac, and my property actually is, you can literally walk to it. I'd say it's like 6-minute walk. And the reason why this postcode is in demand is because it's very close to Durham city centre, and just like most areas, if you're in city centre, the capital growth is higher. Should we go back inside? And just like the rest of the properties, I better be careful. Yeah, so, and just like the other 2 properties, this investor in particular is a repeat client of ours, and she has has visited any of the properties she's invested in, because you start building that relationship, you start building that trust, and she ultimately lets us get on with it. We do what we do best, and she focuses on a job, makes the money and then invests it. Let's go upstairs and I'll show you some better views. So this is the bathroom, and we haven't quite completed this one yet. As I said, we're like a few weeks away. Bedroom number one, you just take a quick stroll in there, come back out. And then this brings you to the front of the house, the second bedroom, and then the other two bedrooms, if you just follow me over here. So that's it. What you've just seen are 3 live projects. Now, if you're there, you've got a bit of money and you're wondering, what should I do with it? How do I invest? Even if I've got no knowledge, time, or confidence, contacts, you get the idea. I'm gonna put up a video called What I Do with £75,000, even if I had no clue. In that video, I'll show you some more projects, run through more numbers and projects that we're working on. Go watch that video. It's gonna be useful, and I'll see you soon.